Nobody. But they make us fight about it because it's catchy. Who can use which bathroom? Who cares? Who cares? I mean it. Who cares? I know someone will be like, oh, but trans people care. They want to know if they can use a public bathroom. Yeah, use whichever bathroom you want. Who's going to stop you? No, seriously, it's a public toilet. Who is going to stop you? You tell me who's going to enforce that law. We can't even enforce the idea that people should shit into the toilet. But you think magically they're going to figure out if you were born this way? Use whichever one you want. Why are we wasting our time? Other people are like, oh, we're going to fight because you got to know who's using. Let me tell you something. If you are spending enough time to know the genitalia of the other people in a public bathroom, you're the creep. I'm worried about you. There is a simple rule to every public toilet around the world, and that rule is you get in, you pay no attention to anyone else, you hold your breath, and you get out. You're standing around staring at other people. Like every man in this room knows, when we use the toilet, what do? We get in. Public toilet, you stare dead ahead. You pee, you do your thing. You do not look to either side. If you're fidgety, you look up, you look down. You do not look at anyone else. The guy next to you could start choking. You don't turn your head, you don't shake, you don't move. You hear him like... You be like, hey man, hey, you alright? Yo, hey man, you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Hey man, are you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Don't look at me! What are we doing? What are we fighting about? Public bathrooms. And if you know your history, you'll know this happens all the time in America. It happens over and over and over again. There was a time when women had to fight to use public bathrooms in America. Imagine that. There was literally a time when women weren't allowed to use public bathrooms all across America, and they had to fight. And there were men who were angry. They're like, this is crazy. You're going to have women in public bathrooms? That's insane. How does it work? Huh? What, they're gonna come in there while we're peeing? And then what, they're gonna look at our wieners? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Think about this, ladies. There was a time when women were first allowed to step into the workplace where there were no public bathrooms that they could use. So ladies, if you were out and about back then, you needed to pee, you needed to poo, you had to go home. Yeah, and I say poo theoretically, I don't know if you actually do. No, I don't think any guy does, let's be honest. We don't. Like, we assume this on a biological level, but I don't know for certain that any woman actually... In fact, any man in here, think of any woman in your life. Do you know the last time she pooed? I don't think you know. I don't think you know. There is no forensic evidence to back up that claim. There is no smell. There is no stain. There is no nothing. And ladies, I don't know who's doing your bathroom PR, but they're doing a stellar job. Stellar job. Women go to the bathroom, smells better when they come out of it. How? You never know when a lady's pooing. Never. Because also, women keep the same amount of time. That's the most impressive thing. You give nothing away. Yeah, a woman's gonna go pee. It takes 10 minutes. She goes to the bathroom, right? Gets there, tinkle, 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 comes out, washes her hands, powders her face, texts on the phone a bit, comes back to the table. You have no clue. Yeah, she's gonna go poo, same thing, 10 minutes. Goes to the bathroom, does a thing, pellets, comes back out, wash her hands, powder the nose, text her friends, get back out there. You have no clue. With men, you know exactly what we're doing. Discretion is not our forte. You know when every single man is gonna go pee. Why? 2 minutes. Off to the bathroom, we're in there. Quickest thing ever. It's like a NASCAR pit stop. Yeah, we get in, we pee, we come back out, act like we're washing our hands, and we're back. How do you know when we're gonna take a dump? Because it's obvious. We go to the bathroom, never come back. That's the last time you'll ever see us. Your family's putting up wanted posters in the restaurant. Have you seen this man? Imagine, people were fighting about bathrooms. This every time in America, every time. There was a time when black people had to fight to use public bathrooms. Huh? Same thing. Black people were like, why can we not use public bathrooms? And again, people were angry. This is crazy. You're going to have black people in the public bathroom? How does that even work? Huh? So what, they're going to be standing there while I'm peeing? Huh? And they're going to be looking at my wiener? Huh? And they're going to laugh? Huh? I'm old enough to remember when there was a discussion in America about whether gay people could use public bathrooms. This was an actual topic of discussion. I remember seeing people on the news being interviewed. They'd be like, do you think that gay men should be allowed into the same bathrooms as straight men? I'd be like, look, I don't mind what they do. If they keep it to themselves, that's fine. But, just answer me this. How's it gonna work, huh? So what, you're in the bathroom with them and then what? Like he's gay and I'm just standing there and I'm peeing, huh? And he's looking at my wiener, huh? And then he grabs it, huh? And he starts yanking on it, huh? He just starts tugging away and I get hard and I'm enjoying it, huh? And then this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, huh? And then I start coming back weekly, hoping I'll bump into him, and I do, huh? And then at some point we agree to meet outside a nice little restaurant that's cozy and get to know each other, huh? And then a few years later we get married and our families are joined and we live happily ever after, huh? Is that what you want? Why? Public bathroom. I had another answer, and that issue was that of James Bond. I'm a big fan of 007, License to Kill. Loved it my whole life. Started with Pierce Brosnan, then went back and watched Connerys and Lazenbys and everyone, all the way through to Daniel Craig. And I love James Bond. And when I found out that Daniel Craig no longer wanted to be James Bond, I was heartbroken. Until I heard that at the top of the list, the potential replacement was a man by the name Idris Elba. And I lost my mind. You can hear the ladies, yeah. And that's what James Bond needs. A ladies' man and a man's man, and Idris has that. He's strong, he's charming, he's got that quiet thing, oh yeah, Idris Elba, oh yeah. Idris Elba, oh yeah. You could just see him playing the dapper spy. And as soon as it was announced, everyone is excited. Everyone was excited until the comment section of the internet came in. Idris Elba, James Bond. And the comment section was like, actually, Idris Elba could not play James Bond. And we were like, why? They're like, because... Because of the shape of his head? What do you say? What do you say? No, because... Because what? Because he's black! James Bond cannot be played by a black man! And as soon as they said that, the internet exploded. Racism! And immediately that happened. I jumped in. I don't even know what it's about half of the time. I just jump in. You just hear racism and I rip my side. I'm just like, racism! Racism! You guys will explain it later. Racism! And I was in there and I was like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, James Bond cannot be played by Idris Elba because Idris Elba is a black man and James Bond is white. I was like, well, actually, James Bond is a fictional character and so we can be played by anyone because it is fiction. And they were like, well, when you think about it, James Bond was based on a real man who was white and so he should be played by a real white man. And I was like, well, that just doesn't make sense because if you think about it, Jesus was technically a black man, but he gets played by a white man. So I don't know what your point is, because that's never stopped me from receiving my blessings. I don't know what you're going on about. And they were like, you can't have it. I was like, racism, you can't have it, racism, you can't have it, racism! And then I went to Scotland. I realized that maybe, just maybe, I hadn't given the argument enough thought. Because I love Idris Elba. I want him to play Bond. But if you think about it, James Bond often operates in places like Scotland and the UK and Europe. Because that's where most supervillains choose to reside. I'm assuming it's for tax purposes. No matter how you feel about the issue, you have to admit it would be particularly difficult to be a spy when you are the only black person in town. Your very existence defies your purpose. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that would be the toughest James Bond movie that was ever made. Can you imagine that scene? Idris Elba James Bond planting the C4, blowing up the bad guy's leg, jumping on a bike, riding into the town square in Edinburgh. The bad guy's right behind him. They pull out their guns and start shooting. The chase is on. Get it, get it, get it. Idris Elba James Bond jumps off the bike, runs into a crowded town square. The bad guys are right behind him. He manages to shake them off, pops into a little alley, gets out on the other side, finds a crowded little marketplace, puts a scarf around his head, a fake beard, blends in with a group of monks walking by. The bad guys turn the corner. There it is! James Bond manages to shake them off, gets into another group of areas, pops out on the other side, finds a transportation hub, gets into a bus, the bus goes one way, gets into a tram, the tram goes the other way, the bad guys turn the corner. There it is! The movie will be 10 minutes long. It would end with James Bond panting in an alley. How did you find me? We would lose so many epic scenes. Like that moment where James reveals his name. You know that scene in the casino we always wait for? Him dressed in the tux, playing a high-stakes game of baccarat. See Idris Elba walking over to the bartender now to place that iconic order. Bartender, I'll take my martini shaken, not stirred. The name's James Bond? I know. I'm sorry, mate. Have we met? No. I just heard there was a spy in town. Figured it was you. What gave me away? Is it the way I dress? Oh, there's just something about you. Something like what? You know. It'll be hard.
So you guys have buffalo scandals in South Africa? I was like, yeah, it's not like a normal. He's like, dude, you have buffalo scandals? Dude, like what is that like a thing out there? You guys like love buffalo? I was like, no, we don't just love buffalo. Like, dude, you love buffalo. South Africans just, you love buffalo. You guys probably have like buffalo on your money. I was like, no, we, That scandal was terrible. Phala phala. What was that? They found 11 million rand. They said that Cyril had 11 million rands worth of dollars in his couch. In his couch. What kind of couch was that? It must have been an L shape, eh? 11 million rands worth of dollars in cash. And then the office of the presidency said he didn't know. He didn't know. So he's never dropped the remote. Not even once, just like, hey son, yo. I don't know what was worse, the scandal or the way the office of the presidency responded to South Africans about the scandal. It was insulting at times, right? At first they were like, this is completely normal. There's nothing to see here. Completely normal. What are you talking about? They're like, yeah, no, you can have some money in your couch. Yeah, maybe 7 rand, guys. Then they went on to say, South Africans must calm down. Cyril just has other businesses that he also does. Other businesses. I don't know about you, but I'm not comfortable hearing that my president has side hustles. You're the president of a country. Why are you doing anything else? It's not like you need spare time. There's no electricity. What do you mean you're doing other things? Are you kidding me? That doesn't make me feel safe. Guys, if I'm on a flight, the last thing I want to see is the pilot coming out of the cockpit like, yeah, nick next, nick next, nick next, nick next. Ah, nick next, nick next. Ah, pecan pies, mama. Ah, pecan pies. Ah, nick next, nick next. I'm like, yo, why aren't you flying the plane? Ah, you never know, Baba. Pick up plane, pick up plane. Are you kidding me? They're like, Cyril has many jobs. How many jobs? Are we just going to find out by surprise? Huh? One day I'm going to open my Uber app and I'll just see Cyril is on the way. You're like, this guy takes Tumamina seriously, eh? That whole scandal, man, all of it. And the load shedding and Cyril and... But I'll still choose this country. I still choose South Africa every day. I'll tell you that now. Tell you that now. Sometimes people will say to me, they'll be like, oh, Trev, you lucky, you got out. Oh, you got out, bro, you're lucky. First of all, I didn't get out. You make it sound like I escaped. I left to go and work. I always come back. People go like, you got out, right? You got out. Make it like I was in the plane, like, go, go, they're coming. Don't let them see me. Go. I love this country. I love South Africa more than anything in the world. It's in my bones. It's in the way I was raised. It's in the languages I speak. And I'll be honest, nothing makes me sadder than the way some people talk about the country. I don't judge them, by the way, because I understand. But, you know, like sometimes people will walk up to me and they think it's going to be like something we'll share. They'll be like, oh, Trevor, South Africa it's terrible. It's the worst country in the world. Huh? Trevor, this country is rubbish. It's the worst. It's terrible. There's nothing worse than this. I'm like, look, I understand that you're frustrated, but like, be mindful of your words. This is far from the worst country in the world. It's far from it. Right? If there's one thing I hope people would realize is when you give up, that's when it truly fails. Right? It is not the worst country in the world. In my opinion, it is a great country that's going through one of the worst periods in its time. There's a difference. You can have a great country going through a bad time. It doesn't mean that it's now a bad country. We've got so many things to hope for. We've got so many things to work for, people. Are you kidding me? And then people will come to me, they'll be like, yeah, but Trev, it's easy for you to say, bro, but look at the looting and the riots. Yeah, guys, there's looting and riots in every country around the world. It happens when there's a lack of service delivery. You will see it anywhere. America was burning down at some point. Paris is burning every few weeks. Huh? Every few weeks. Have you seen them? And the French are angry. Petrol bombs everywhere. J'ai trop de l'épatte de croître dessus. Allez de quoi de la merde. Se trotter du futur. Yes, I know they also loot and riot in South Africa, but at least here in South Africa, when they loot, they smile. That way I know it's not personal. They're shaking things up. One of my favorite lootings I ever saw was on the news. There was this guy who looted a TV. He looted a TV, guys. And it was a short guy, and he was running with the TV, and he was like, yeah, yeah. And you could see he was having the best day ever. Yeah. And while he was running with the TV, another guy came who was bigger than him and grabbed the TV. And he was like, And then the big guy took the TV. And then he ran away with it, gone. And this little guy, I've never seen a human have so many emotions in 30 seconds. Yeah. 30 seconds earlier, this guy was in heaven. He was there running with his new TV like, yeah, where's the police? 30 seconds later, he was like, where's the police? I'll take it any day of the week. People be like, yeah, you know, you say that, Trevor, you say that, eh? You say that. Yeah, but what about the crime? What about the crime, Trevor? Huh? Yes, I admit it, the crime is terrible. It's out of control. We have to do something about it. We have to fight against it, you know? But the thing that gives me hope is that it's a problem that has a solution. Economists have shown time and time again around the world that when there's a high rate of crime, it is often tied to a high rate of unemployment. And so if you work to fix that unemployment, you are then solving the problem of crime. They've shown this time and time again. It is not an easy problem to fix, but it is fixable. People are like, oh yeah, but you're in America, bro, you're lucky. You don't even have crime. It's like, okay, first of all, there is crime. And second of all, there's something else that we don't have in South Africa, mass shootings. Yeah, that's the craziest thing ever. Just randomly, you're in a room, in a public space, anywhere. Someone comes in, giant gun, starts shooting. Ga, 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 ga. 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, dead. Why? Nobody knows. Imagine that. Now you're dead. You don't know why. Just getting into heaven. I know they're both terrible, guys, but for me, I'll choose crime, eh? No, because even with crime, at least there's a moment where I know there's hope, where I can be like, okay. But let me take my SIM card and delete my browser history. I'll choose South Africa any day of the week. These are things I think about. I have to think about them. Because now, I've lived in America for so long that they say that soon I'm going to be given a US passport. Right? You say woo because you don't know what it comes with. Tandaga, you're clapping already. Yay! Didn't even ask about terms and conditions. Because I read the terms and conditions of having an American passport. There are many things that I don't like. First and foremost, I will have to be subject to the American legal system. Yeah. I'm not enthusiastic about that, I'm not gonna lie. Because I never planned to do anything wrong in America. But in the back of my head, I always thought if something was to be done by me, I felt good knowing they would have to deport me. They would be like, you're guilty, you're deported. And I'll be like, no. And then I'll come home and be like, Maracas, you must know, South Africa, you guys know, you know what happens sometimes, but you never know. Why did Rihanna leave her iPhone like that? No, but I seriously don't want to be involved in the American justice system. Because they say it's justice, but it's terrifying. You don't know how they'll treat you. You don't know why they'll treat you. The scariest part for me is what happens in courts. Because they have a jury system in America. I'm terrified of that. Terrified of it. For those who don't know, I'm sure you've seen it on TV, but for those who don't know, the American system is very different to the South African one. In South Africa, you have the judge, you have the prosecution, and you have the defense. Right? That's who your case is working with, and the judge decides. The judge has studied, they're learned, they know what's going on. And you can talk to them on their side. I'm joking. But I like knowing that person had to go to school to figure out whether I broke the law. In America, it's a different system. They have a judge, they have a prosecution, and they have a defense, but they also have a jury. A jury. 12 people who are randomly gathered, randomly picked, who decide your fate. These people do not need to have studied the law. They don't need to understand the law. They don't even need to have watched Law and Order. Now they're deciding your fate. Clan, clan. I don't want that in my life. Yeah, I don't want that, and I don't want to be on a jury either. That's what comes with getting an American passport. You now have to be on a jury. I don't want to be on a jury. You know why? Because I'm South African. Yeah, and you're probably wondering, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. I read the rules of being on a jury, and I realized South Africans can never be on a jury. Yeah, because there's certain rules when you're on a jury. One of the most important rules right at the top of the list is if you are on a jury, if you're serving on a jury, you may not express your feelings or emotions about anything that is happening during the case. You may not talk about it, and you may not during heights.
Yeah, hot is where the worst thing is everyone comes up to me and they go, well, you must be used to this being from Africa. And no, I'm not. I'm from Africa, but that shit is hot. That was just, no. I was scared to go jogging because I thought if I ran out in the streets and fainted, wouldn't the local news love that? I'd be running and I'd fall down in the heat. They would have their vans reporting live. They'd be standing there going, so hot in Atlanta, even Africans are fainting. So I'm enjoying this. Really happy to be here, you know. This is going to be good for us, I hope. I say I hope because I never know with stand-up comedy. It's just, you know, it's an awkward experience, I find. I'm always nervous. I find comedy is very similar to sex for me. Well, it's exactly like sex when you think about it. With me, the comedian, playing the role of the man, and you, the audience, the role of the woman. Because it's my job to satisfy you. And you just have to sit there. And then, just like sex, my success or failure will somehow be determined by how much noise you make during my performance. Which makes it a one-sided affair, I feel, you know? Yeah, I mean, maybe you're the quiet type. I hope we have magic tonight. I hope we create something wonderful. I mean, for many of us, it's our first time together, and that means it might be awkward. I understand this. And if that's the case, I want you to know that I'll look into your eyes, I'll see that I'm freaking you out, and I'll stop. I'll stop, and I'll flip you back over, and we'll go back to the simple stuff. Okay?